Well, in the 52 Guild I was 10 and I stood at the side of the road and waiting for the processions to come, full of excitement. We could hear the bands in the background, and that's always exciting to hear a band knowing that it's coming that little bit nearer. But I remember thinking that at the next Guild I would probably be 30 years of age. Well, I would be 30 years of age. I would probably be married and I'd probably have children, and it was a mind-boggling thing to try and imagine that. And also I had a friend of the family came over from Canada with her husband, especially for Preston Guild. She'd been born and bred in Preston but had emigrated to Canada. They were back for the Guild, and we had a family trip out to Stonyhurst College, and I got to know this lady who I'd only ever heard of but had never met, and she was quite an interesting lady. She had quite a story to tell. So those were my main memories of 52. 72, I brought my husband and family and stood pretty much in the same spot that I'd stood in when I was 10 years old. I remembered always thinking about the next Preston Guild and how old I would be that I'd been married, and sure enough I was. And then in the 92 Guild I brought my father-in-law from Blackburn because he'd never been to a Guild, and 92 was the one that I remember most, with a lot of events leading up to it, that things that happened throughout the year. There were lots of choral concerts and band concerts. There was the reenactment of the Battle of Preston and Avon Park, which was very interesting, quite an atmosphere down there. A lot of people taking picnics and hampers and making quite a day of it. And we also went to the fireworks, and it absolutely threw it down. It was horrendous. And as everybody was coming out of the car parks to get to the park, volunteers were handing out little plastic, well, they were plastic bags really, but big ones that you could sort of put one corner over your head to keep you dry. But once the concert started, then it finished. The rain stopped, and we had a dry concert, but it was just slime underfoot on the park. It was, yeah.
Do you think the Guild is important to Preston then?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it puts it on the map and keeps it on the map, really.
In the 52, of course, it was walking in the Guild and the street parties. Remember all the street parties there, you know, with big trestle tables and all the buntings out, and we had jelly and all sorts of stuff, spam, and because it was just after the war, so some things were still on ration in 52 Guild. So we thought it was absolute magic to see all this food. We'd never seen as much food in one place at one time, so that was a good memory for me. The 72 Guild, I don't remember an awful lot of it because I was working full time, and I was also working behind a bar, so it was all hands to the pump. So every time there was any free time, they wanted people to work behind the bar. So I didn't see an awful lot of the 72 Guild.
Why do you think the Guild's important to the people of Preston?
Tradition. I don't think there's an awful lot of tradition left. I think it's nice for people to be proud of something.
I like all the you know, all the civic ceremonies, the pump, you know, all the pomp, and seeing all the, you know, all the processions and you know, that sort of thing. But you know, everybody gets dressed up, all the regalia and that's, you know, all the civic side I like.
Why is the Guild important to the people of Preston?
It's important because it's tradition, and you know, a lot of things nowadays where tradition doesn't count for, you know, for anything. But in Preston, I think the Guild does, and it teaches the younger ones, you know, the school children now, like it taught us, you know, to respect, you know, Preston and you know, and it's something to look forward to every 20 years.